Hey guys, this is Data Nate. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to carry out sentiment analysis on some tweets. Sentiment analysis is a natural language processing technique used to determine whether data is positive, negative, or neutral. And we perform sentiment analysis on textual data. Businesses can use sentiment analysis to monitor brands and product sentiments from their customers' feedback to understand their customers' needs. You can use sentiment analysis to, find out which news is real news, which news is fake news. You can use sentiment analysis to find out hate speech, from text, and so on and so forth. So this video is just going to be focused on classifying tweets under negative, positive, or neutral sentiment. So to begin, we're going to import a few libraries that we're going to use. We're going to import pandas for our data frame. We're going to import matplotlib. For our visualization. I'm going to import text blob, which we'll use to get the sentiments for our tweets. We're going to import word cloud. Sorry, this is capital W. Word cloud to visualize our tweets as well. I think this is okay. One more. I'm going to import regular expressions. Regular expressions is going to help us to clean up our text. Okay, so let me go ahead and run this. Sorry, I need to put in the cell below. Okay, the next thing we're going to do now is actually let me insert a few more cells. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is to read, to bring in our sample tweets. So I'm going to say pd.read CSV. I think I called it sample tweets.csv. Okay, so let me run this. Let's take a look at our data frame. Let us see the shape of our data frame. Okay, we have 2 columns and 100 rows. Let's take a look at our tweets. Run this. And we have our tweets. Actually, let me see the first 20 tweets. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So we're going to be cleaning this data. If you look, you'd see the @mentions. We're going to get rid of all that, the RTs, the if there are any hyperlinks, if there are any special characters, we're gonna take care of that. So to do that, we need to create a function to to help us clean the text. Call it clean text. Return text. Say first we want to remove the at mentions. Uppercase from A to Z, lowercase from A to Z, numbers from 0 to 9. And we want to return an empty string. So these checks for at mentions and characters, uppercase A to Z, lowercase A to Z, numbers from 0 to 9, and returns an empty string. Let me copy this line of code. Next, we're going to check for let's remove any hashtags in our text. We don't want any hashtags, so remove that. Next, we want to remove RTs. We don't want the retweets and any white spaces. We also want to check and remove any hyperlinks. Text // Also check for white spaces. Okay, so what we're doing here is cleaning the text. If you look here, you see the at sign, the RT, and this is just the first 20 tweets. So there might be hyperlinks, there might not be any, but this will take care of that in case there's any hyperlinks anywhere. We're removing the RTs, we're removing the hashtags. So I think we're good for now. You can clean your text further if you like. So let me run this. Next, I'm going to apply this to our tweets column. Say tweets dot apply lambda clean text clean underscore txt, our function. Okay, so let's run this. Now let's take a look and see what we've done and see if we have actually cleaned out some of these characters that we placed here. Okay, if I run this, okay, it looks like we gotten rid of the at mentions, the RTs. If you compare, let's see, the first tweet and the second tweet. The first 3 tweets have the at mentions. If we check the first 3, we can see that it's gone. So okay, so we've been able to clean the text to a satisfactory level. Next, we're going to get the subjectivity and the polarity. By definition, subjectivity has to do with opinions, emotions, and judgment. It ranges from 0 to 1, where 0 is very objective and 1 is very subjective. Subjective sentence expresses some personal feelings, views, beliefs, opinions, allegations, desire, beliefs, suspicions, speculations, whereas objective sentences are factual sentences. And polarity determines if the text expresses positive, negative, or neutral sentiments. And it ranges from -1 to 1. So to do that, to get the subjectivity and the polarity, we will create two functions. Get subjectivity and to return text blob or text sentiments to subjectivity. Okay, so we're going to copy this and do the same for polarity. We call this get polarity and just change what's here, polarity. Okay, so let's run this. Next, we'll create two columns and add to our data frame. The first is for subjectivity. Tweets, we're applying it to our tweets column. Remember, get subjectivity. Okay, I can copy this line and do the same and create another column for polarity and just change the function here. Get polarity. Okay, so we're done. Let me insert this cell below. Let me run this code. And we have an error. Okay. Let us see what sentiment object has no attribute subjectivity. Okay, let's see. We may have made a mistake. Use uppercase instead of a lowercase. Okay, so that was fixed. Yeah, I used an uppercase S and uppercase P. Okay, let's look at our data frame now. We should have two additional columns, subjectivity and polarity. Awesome. Okay, so you can see subjectivity and polarity columns. So neutral sentiments, negative sentiment. Okay. All right. I want to see how the sentiments are distributed by using what we call a word cloud. So a word cloud is a visual representation of text. So let's plot the word cloud. Say join tweets define some parameters. Height 300. Random state of 21. Have max font size. Max font size. Let's set this to 119. Okay. Okay. So generate all words. Okay. Now let's plot this to show our word cloud, to show our interpolation, which I'm going to set to bilinear. Oh, sorry. Bilinear. Yeah, so PLT, plot the axis and set it to off. PLT, not show, to see our word cloud. So we're good and ready. Let me run this. Good. Interesting. So let me explain what's happening here. This is a word cloud, and you can see some texts in here, some bold, some small, and basically what this is telling us is the bolder texts, for instance, Cavani, football, are they appear more than others in these tweets. We have a total of 100 tweets from this user, and Cavani, football, Man United, predictions, Greenwood. These words that are bolder than the others they appear more in more places than others. Okay, so going forward, I want to create a function to compute the negative, positive, and neutral sentiment. So we'll say, let's call this get sentiment. Call this get sentiment, and let me pass in score. So I'll say if score is less than 0, return negative. If score is equal to 0, return neutral. Else return positive. Else return positive. Okay. So this is our function, and it's going to help us compute the sentiments across the tweets. Now we have to create a separate column. Let's call this analysis. Let's call this column analysis so we can see. And we're going to apply this function to our polarity column. Polarity column dot apply lambda x, get sentiments. And put okay. Create a cell below. Okay, let me run this. Okay, what's the challenge? Get sentiment is not defined. Oh, I forgot to run this cell. Okay, if I run it now, it'll be okay. Okay, now let's take a look at our data frame and see what we have. Now we have an additional column called analysis, and this has helped us to classify the tweets into neutral, positive, and negative sentiments. So we have neutral, positive, positive, neutral, and we have a negative sentiment here. Let's see. Yeah, he's been unreal. Positive, top player. Positive, nice. Neutral, who's your Premier League player of the season? Positive is Luke Shaw, the best left back. Neutral, let's see the negative. You cannot love N'Golo Kante. Neutral, Ruben Diaz is something else. Haha, positive. Okay, now that we've classified our tweets into neutral, positive, and negative, let's calculate, let's see how many, let's see the percentage of positive tweets, negative tweets, and neutral tweets that we have. Okay, let's go ahead and say positive is equal to data frame. What did we call it? Analysis. Okay, analysis. Capital A is here. Data frame, which is equal to positive. So we want to print let's put everything in a string, and positive, not shape. Let's get the shape of our positive tweets and divide that by our data frame, the shape of our data frame. Shape of our data frame, and multiply. Let's multiply this by 100. Okay, so let's see what we have. Let's call it percentage of positive tweets. Percentage of positive tweets. So we want to see how many positive, the percentage of positive tweets that we have. So when we run this, we can see that we have 35% of our tweets that are positive. And we can do that also to see the negative and the neutral. So I just copy this and paste it here and change this to, say, neutral. Let's see how many neutral tweets we have. Say neutral. And this would be, actually, let me just call it small letter. Change this to neutral. If you left it at capital N, it'll still work. It's just for convention's sake. That's why I changed the N to small letters. Okay, so we have percentage of neutral tweets. Okay, run this. Let's see how many we have. We have 51% of neutral tweets. Interesting. Now let's paste this here and do the same for negative. Let's see how many tweets, how many percent of our tweets are negative. Let's see, negative percentage of negative tweets. Let's run this, and we have 14% of our tweets are negative. Interesting. We can take this further by, just plotting to see the value counts for all of our sentiments. So let's plot a bar. Let's call this sentiments analysis. X label. We'll call that X label sentiments. Let's call Y label counts. Okay, we want to see a value. I want to plot our value counts for the three sentiments, so negative, positive, and neutral. Okay, so let's see value counts. Value counts dot plot. So we indicate what kind of plot that we want. In this case, I want a bar chart. Okay, so let's see what this plot looks like. Okay, so overall we have neutral tweets to be, we have more of neutral tweets than positive and negative, and we have very few negative tweets from this particular sample that we've collected. And you can do a lot, honestly, with sentiment analysis. I hope you found this useful, and if you enjoyed it, just give me a like and subscribe. Alrighty, I'll see you next time. Cheers.